Good morning, Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. Welcome to season 4 of the NFR Hangover. Listen, we have a lot of things to talk about today, and we're going to start with I'll start. We'll start with kind of talking about some of the events that happened in Las Vegas yesterday. You guys don't miss this show. It's going to be a little bit different just because we don't really know what is going to happen in Vegas. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Hey, before we get too far into the show, listen, we were talking before we went live, and I think something that, like, almost the elephant in the room, like, let's just talk real quickly about the families that were impacted by the events of yesterday. I know we talked about having kind of a moment of silence in recognition of the lives that were taken way too soon. We don't want to talk about some things, but I think that we would fail miserably if we didn't talk about it. So, Jim Boy, did you want to lead us in a prayer this morning?
Yeah. As most everybody probably knows me, I'm kind of the the clown of the show a lot of times and different things and cut up and there'll be memes. I wanted to if I was better with computer and graphics and all that, I would post something about this change in plans has probably thrown off all the ladies in Vegas and the dresses their whole, they line them all out and they have all their dresses. Now it's throw it all in a quandary. Yeah, I'll make comments like that and do things like that. But in all seriousness, it is a serious event. There was, when I was alerted yesterday to the issue during grand entry practice and all the contestants had to go in the arena, there was some people a little nervous. I was told of a few barrel racers who was pretty shaken, and they said they brought everybody down on the floor, and a SWAT guy was going through there with a high-powered rifle, and the bad thing is, and we just went through this here on our campus just about a month ago. We had an active shooter called in. A guy came in the library and said someone's shooting at me. So our emergency notification was alerted, and it was quite a deal. And the problem is, if you've ever been in that building, there's no service in there. Your phone, it's hard to get service in there. So you're locked in and you don't have any contact to the outside world. So, man, you don't know what's going on, so it's a tricky situation, but yeah, let's just go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Lord, I just want to thank you for having the opportunity for us just to gather and talk about the sport of rodeo. It means so much to all of us, Lord. And Lord, we just want to just ask you to be with the families of the victims yesterday, Lord, and everybody that was affected by the consequences there. And Lord, I ask that you be with the culprits family as well, Lord. And Lord, I just pray that we can rank mental health right up there with beating cancer and all the other negative things that are in this world, Lord. I just ask that you lay your hands on the families, just be with all the contestants there, Lord. And this is their livelihoods as well that's being affected. And so I just ask that you be with the leaders, all the directors, all the police and the PRCA, Las Vegas events, everybody who has a hand in figuring out where they're going to go, Lord. They're in meetings right now, and just ask that you give them the wisdom to make the right decisions and carry on. Just thank you for this opportunity, Lord, again, and just ask that you be with everybody out there, be with everybody as they compete, and everybody traveling in and out of there, Lord. Thank you and love you. And please forgive us of our sins. In Jesus' name pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thanks, Jim Boy.
Yeah.
So, with that, before we get too far, I want to make sure that we recognize our sponsors and those that have partnered with us to allow us to come back for sports season. I do have a new background. You don't even want to know how I have it rigged in my office. Twine and baling wire, a little bit of that.
It's cowboyed up.
Yes, it is. Especially since I had to do it. That's not great. Anyway, so we want to give a shout out, of course, to Cinch Jeans and Shirts. They're trying as hard as they can to make us look good. Some days it's easier than others. So these guys are sporting Cinch. We want to give a shout out to our new partner this year, which is Branded Buzzworm. They are kind of the brainchild behind the brand Rodeo Bum, which I have one of their shirts on today. And also, they have a brand called Cow Boss. And then, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. They also have a t-shirt that they put out. I feel like every high school boy in the world is going to be wearing this.
Right here, not high school boy. Not just high school boy. Everybody. I want one.
So, Buckle Bunny Pimp. If you guys, and listen, they have assured me that they can get orders out by Christmas. So,
yes.
brandedbuzzworm.com. And what else? What am I missing? Oh, you guys, they have graciously provided us with swag for our go-round winners. For our Pro Fantasy League, we have coffee cups. And you will notice that I have them. Not that they are coming, but we have them. So we won't have to wait for a while to get our go-round Pro Fantasy winners out. We're going to have them and get them shipped out. So I'm super excited about that. Pretty sure I'm missing something, but we'll go. All right. So, yeah.
This just in, we brought in Jimmy. I wanted to bring him in today because last night I was out in the shop working, missing the breakaway roping, of course. But I got a phone call from Tom Miller out there, and he says, "How reliable is Jimmy Morris's sources?" And I said, "Well, I wouldn't discount anything he says. Jimmy's Jimmy, of course. I've known him for a long time, a good friend of mine. But I said I wouldn't discount anything." He said, "Well, he put a deal on the Cowboy Channel." He goes, "I got bored." He said, "I kind of weaned myself off of that for a while, but I got bored and flipped over there." And he said Jimmy's got them all in an uproar. He said they canceled the first perf, and they're all doubting him. And I said, "Well, I don't know." And it was only just a few minutes later, I don't remember how I found out, but they said, yeah, they came on the Cowboy Channel, and it's been canceled, postponed. I don't know the wording. Tony did mention a little bit ago before we came on, maybe, and that's tough. I don't know if it is canceled. I don't know if it's postponed. They're in meetings right now, I believe, trying to figure it out. But I did get a message. They are going to be in the arena at 2:30 today. There's open arena at 2:30. So I did see reports that the campus is closed except for essential staff and students. What they say through Sunday, is that what they're saying? But anyhow,
yeah, I think that's what I heard.
I reached out to a few people just to let me know if you can, any scheduling stuff you hear. And so far, all I know is arena time at 2:30. So, all right, Jimmy, welcome back. We had Jimmy on here ago, and I think that was one of our highest rated shows, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was our first year too, I believe.
Everybody.
Yeah, that was when we were
controversial.
That was whenever we were in Dallas, Arlington, in 2020 during COVID. I think that nobody could get out of the house, so they didn't have nothing else to do but watch us.
Well, you kind of look like you're in COVID again right now.
I'm trying to be. I segregate myself from society. I mean, I'm all right with that.
No shave December.
Yeah, it's hunting season. You guys don't have trees. We got to camouflage ourselves to blend in down here.
Hey, so I want to get into rooted things here. We talked a little bit about it. We had a pre-show the other day, and I guess this is another pre-show, but we talked a little bit about the team roping drama this year. And, with that, in the last few weeks, it was mentioned about that bull rider last year. And I didn't get into it too deep the other day, but I did say that it was two whole different deals. But you are pretty well versed in the differences between hearings or grievances or whatever. So give us your take on the whole team roping deal.
Unfortunately, I know a lot about PRCA grievances. My son was a rookie last year, and 18-year-old rookies don't know much. I didn't know anything when I was an 18-year-old rookie. Thought I did, but at the end of the day, you don't know anything. And most of them don't even know where to find the rule book, let alone know what the rule book says. So anyways, I took it upon myself to enter my son last year, and we ended up in a grievance, and that was in July. We won the grievance. The PRCA tried to overturn it at the end of the year. As everybody knows, they had 16 bull riders last year. I'm well too versed in the antics that the PRCA are possible of. But anyways, the team roping deal, I don't know enough concrete evidence about the team roping. I know basically what happened. I know basically what the PRCA told him. And I don't know enough concrete evidence to really have a solid opinion one way or another about exactly what took place in this year's team roping fiasco. But I think it's really a shame that these guys rodeo for a living or try to rodeo for a living. And, they're out there 365 days a year trying to make it to the finals. And then, the issues that we encounter seem totally unnecessary and unprofessional at times to me. I don't know. Do you know, Tony, what details do you know about? I missed y'all's last show about the team roping. I know the PRCA told him one thing, and that wasn't it. I know I can get on Lucchese's portal, and I can see exactly his rodeo count. But at the time, I think the portal was down.
So, yeah, I'm not real sure about the time frame or the portal, but what they're saying, and like I say, I've done some looking into it. So supposedly he looked into Colby Payne contacted the PRCA before the Governor's Cup, supposedly 3 times. I don't know how close in time frame these 3 times were, but he got told 3 times, no, the Governor's Cup will be your 75th rodeo. The portal said it was, he's going to be at 75, this and that. He goes, ropes, wins at the Governor's Cup, thinks it counts. Well, then they do the official audit. But the rumor that I did hear, like I say, this is all rumors, is that he and Clay Smith walked up and entered a rodeo, walked up entries to one, got in. And it was, I guess when you walk up in, or it's an official rodeo. There's no unofficially or whatever, but it wasn't in the system yet, or it hadn't got caught up till they did the audit. So, but the way they worded it is, Colby Payne counts 76 rodeos and jumps to 15th. Well, that just blew the doors wide open, because I listened to Kendra Santos and Tommy Joe Lucia's podcast the other day. Right. And Kendra said that a bunch of people, I think, Jimbo, you mentioned a bunch of people that were in 16th and other events. Well, hey, if they're counting 76 for that guy that was in 17th, actually, you got to count 76 for me. And that's when the PRC went back and said, whoa, the grievance committee, I guess there's 10 of them on the board or something, but only 3 of them vote on an issue. And it was 2-1 to let Colby in. And then when they revisited a week later, it was 2-1 to, okay, we're going to let Tyler Worley back in. But first and foremost, I think, and this is just me, and it's with the wording, and I even have trouble with the wording of canceling the first round of the NFR. It's not technically canceled. It's going to be postponed or moved or pushed. They could have worded it that way, but with same deal with Colby Payne's. Colby Payne gets to count 76 rodeos. Well, that's just a red flag. They could have said, hey, Colby Payne, there was a mess up in the audit. Colby Payne rodeo count is adjusted to show his win. I mean, there's just the wording, I think, and the way it's being pushed out throws a bunch of red flags and makes everybody like, man, this isn't right. So I think how it's being perceived or how it's being put out there is it's causing a lot of the confusion too, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. The way that people word things and the way that things are worded, especially the rule book, that was a lot of the issues last year with the bull riding was the wording of the rule book. I'll just give you the skinny on what happened with Lucchese. He went to an event that was 2 go rounds. He showed up late. The go rounds were in the same perf. He showed up late. They didn't let him get on his first bull. He was there in time to get on his first bull, and the judge wouldn't let him. So he's the only one to ride in the second go round. So the PRCA says that he's not eligible for that first go round money. Nobody made the whistle. Okay. Well, the rule book says different. And so this is what started the whole dilemma. We filed a grievance that said Lucchese got all the ground money. In the bull riding, the ground money counts. Mm-hmm. There's a rule that just took effect last year in the bull riding. If nobody makes a qualified ride, the money goes into escrow. The money doesn't. Okay. They don't pay out ground money if everybody gets bucked off. The money goes into escrow. It's held over till the next year. But in the wording of that rule, it says the money goes into escrow if there's not a qualified ride. So my argument with the PRCA was that money can't go into escrow. There was a qualified ride. Their argument was you can't win average money if you don't get on both bulls. I said he's not eligible for the average. We can all agree on that. The problem is when nobody qualifies for the average money, that money then becomes ground money because the rule book says so. And he is eligible for the ground money. It says nowhere in the rule book he's not eligible for the ground money. And we went to a hearing and we won 3-0. The hearing that money counted. So that was July the 6th was the hearing. Well, Lucchese broke his leg on July the 2nd. So he sits there all summer, watches himself fall out of the standings. We get a letter that says we have another hearing to overturn our grievance on September 29th. Well, September 30th, the day before the end of the season. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So the rule book specifically state that when the grievance board makes their decision, it's final and binding on all parties. So, of course, we objected to a new hearing, and the PRCA told us that they were having another hearing whether we liked it or not. And so they did have another hearing. And whenever they had another hearing, they added 2 more voters to their grievance board. So the first time we won 3-0. The second time we won 5-0. So we won to a count of 8-0. Now, where the PRCA screwed up was, in my opinion, they strong-armed us into a second hearing. So when the 16th place guy filed a grievance, they couldn't deny him a grievance because they had just strong-armed us into a second grievance. So their options were they either had to give the 16th place guy a hearing or he was going to get a lawyer and sue him.
Right.
And I hear he had a pretty good lawyer. And so then their options were get sued or take 16 guys. And so they ended up taking 16 guys. That's how we ended up with 16 people. But it's simply the wording of the rule book. The main rule that the PRCA tried to argue with me was that the rule says if there's 2 go-rounds in one day, the first go-round does not have to start or does not have to end before the second round starts. So if there's 2 rounds in one day or back-to-back go-rounds, those rounds can run intermittently. They can run together. Well, the judge didn't let the judge said the go round was over, and he wouldn't let Lucchese get on his first bull, even though he was present and there. And I asked him what made the go round over. He said, well, they had intermission. Well, the intermission doesn't end the go round, but the PRCA tried to tell me that the rule about the go round ending was only for splits for the calf roping and steer wrestling. So I asked the PRCA if they could show me what page that rule was on, because my rule book doesn't say that. So their director of approvals stated that, well, it wasn't a rule, it's just how they interpret it. And I said, well, this isn't about interpreting something that's not in the rule book. This is about applying the rules that are written. So they had to apply that rule as it was written. And, you know, Lucchese should have been able to get on his bull and we wouldn't have had an issue. So anyhow, that's how we ended up with 16 guys last year.
Well, fortunately, you know, we've been discussing wording and whatnot. Since we're kind of talking about the team roping, I do have the 2023 NFR team roping crossfire addendum to the rule. It's 637 pages of it's going out next year. This is just for this year because they're changing it for next year.
There's going to be some additions.
It's going to be 800 pages next year because the steer's right hind toe, the right new claw's got to be in turn 90 degrees. The left one can be perpendicular to the equinox of the sun, the moon, and the equator.
But I was told the other day, Chuck will be flagging it again, and I think Harry will be down the wall. I guess the deal is that if Harry has a question, if he thinks there's a crossfire, he can hold out a flag or something, and it's Chuck's option to flag him out or wave off the call.
If Harry's not sure, if he flags him out for a crossfire, Chuck can Chuck raise the flag at Harry and go, no, it was clean, or does Harry have to be the one to initiate?
No, I think Harry initiates it. Chuck, I'm not sure if Chuck can just do it himself, you know.
Right. So if Harry flags him and he thinks it's clean and doesn't look to Chuck for clarification and rides away, it's a done deal.
Well, no, Harry will be on the wall.
Oh, okay.
And Chuck will be mounted. And the way it was told to me is if Harry thinks it's a crossfire, he'll signify.
He'll let Chuck know.
And then Chuck can decide yay or nay.
Right. He can make the final decision. The one with the flag on horseback will make the final decision.
Yeah. But I was told next year it goes back to just solely on the flagger.
I got you.
So there's a little tidbit for you. And it's just it's a 30-second penalty. Is that, I think
that rule
30 or 60, I think.
I think it was 30 last year.
What?
Because they said the 30-second penalty. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What was you gonna say, Jamie?
The crossfire rule is only about one sentence long in the rule book, but as Jim Boy said, by the time you get through interpreting, you need about 643 pages because everybody in rodeo interprets that rule differently.
Well, they came out.
That has to be the most controversial rule in the rule book.
They worked on it even like in February or something because it was pretty controversial the first of the year. And then I think they even kind of tweaked on it a little bit midstream, I think. And,
they worked on, I think it was February, right before Houston or right after one of the rodeos out here in Texas, they kind of worked on it. And the bad thing is, I think, and we all can agree, it's not the bad thing, it's a great thing, is there's so much media coverage, so many rodeos you can watch on TV, but the angle we're getting, and we've all three judged and flagged team opens, and the angle we see it at from the horseback and that the judges have seen it is not the same angle we're getting on television. And when it's a bang, bang play, I mean, I almost got in a fist fight at a jackpot with my own brother for flagging him out for a crossfire. And I mean, he was ready to fight at a $20 jackpot because I took that shot all day long. I said, well, you finally went too fast. And talk about, then my dad come out and whooped both our butts, but that was, And it was last year. No kidding. It was 20 years ago. But I mean, it's just the angle that we're seeing it on television versus when we're seeing it from the floor of the arena makes it hard too.
So I mean, we can beat this horse for a long time, but I still feel like, and I didn't realize this, Jimmy, you made a good point. You can log in. You logged into Lucchese's PRCA account to see exactly how many rodeos he had in his account. Like
I can log in and I can tell you his total count, and the portal's a little bit confusing because if say like in the bull riding, you got 125 rodeos. Well, he had like 150 something on there last year, and I didn't enter any unofficial. But what happens is if you enter, Rapid City and you make the short round at Fort Worth, well then they let you draw out of Rapid City, but it still shows up on your portal. So you've got 150 rodeos entered here, but that's really not your count. So it can get confusing, but it'll show you the count, and then it'll show you the circuit count also. So if you get, like I said, you get you make the short round or the progressive round at San Antonio and you're entered somewhere else, well, they replace you wherever else you're entered, and that rodeo still shows up in your portal, but it doesn't count against you. And so you'll have a heck of a lot more rodeos than, or if you doctor's release, when Lucchese broke his leg the year before last, he doctor's release for 2.5 months. Well, he broke his leg the 2nd of July, so he's entered in 40 rodeos. So now it shows he's got 135 rodeos and he's only been to 60, but it will show you, you have to go in there and look, and it'll show you your actual unofficial rodeos, which are rodeos you were replaced at, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And it'll show you your official count. It'll show you your circuit count. But I remember towards the end of the year last year, there was a week or so there where our system crashed again. And, it was down through the whole 4th of July. But then right there at the end, it crashed again for a day or two. And so I could see him not being able to get on there and look because the system was down. And whenever I called the PRCA, of course, whenever at first in July when the system crashed, they couldn't access it. Well, a lot of people had no idea where they were entered. I write it all down on a calendar, but a lot of people, just as long as their phone's not dead, they've got access to everywhere they need to go. So now they don't even know where the heck they were entered at. But as Tony said, if he walked up, it won't show up in the system. And a problem that we had with Lucchese, he walked up a couple times, and then he would be ineligible the next Monday because he didn't pay his fees. When he actually did pay his fees, if he paid the secretary or whatever, it would show up like he competed and didn't pay his fees. And then the secretary would have to call up there. And the walk-up entry is a good thing, but as we can see, it also has some issues with it.
There's kind of a disconnect. They've got to figure a workaround to when they walk up, it gets put right into the system a lot quicker for the Cowboys. So, but another thing, like you say, and this was my thinking too, and Colby Payne with the rodeo count. I mean, at the end of the day, it's on the Cowboy, I believe, to know your rodeo count. Tyler Worley went to 74 rodeos and made sure he had a buffer because he didn't know if he's going to get into the Governor's Cup. He didn't. So he went with 74 rodeos. But I mean, if it was me, okay, I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm going to say, hey, your system crashed for a week in July in the heart of the rodeos. It makes it hard for me to keep up with my rodeo count. But I mean, like I say, that's just my mind working of how would I attack it if I was in this position. But at the end of the day, I think the PRCA got it right. The guy that went to the required number, the 75 or one less, is the one going. They're not taking somebody that counted 76. You feel bad for Colby Payne, but what about the mental side of it for Tyler Worley? For from September 30th, from October 1st up until 2 weeks before the finals, hey, you're going. Oh, but now, by the way, 2 weeks out, you're not going now. And then he has to sit there for a week trying to figure out what to do. So I think the PRCA got it right. I'm glad they did. I feel bad for both parties that had to go through it, but I think we got the right teams in the team roping, and I mean, it's NFR time. I know they've got some stuff to work out in Vegas today to figure out how they're going to get all 10 rounds in. I know they will get 10 rounds. When Luke started going to the finals, the 10th round was a Sunday afternoon performance. So they could kick it down a day. They could double up on a Saturday. I mean, there's ways to work around this to where they're going to get the 10 rounds in, which I believe they will. So, I mean, it's going to be exciting finals. I mean, look at all the rookies we got coming in, you guys, in every event. But, wow. We ready to talk about bareback riding? What do you guys want to talk about?
The breakaway finished up.
Breakaway. Well, hey, so
my team did horrible though. I bought a team. Man, can I recruit? Yeah. But they needed me there coaching. Apparently, I thought we were pretty all right in the average after the first 5 rounds. Then yesterday, I guess I wasn't able to watch them, and I did have one thing on the breakaway. What do you think the score? Did you get to watch any of it?
I watched it. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the score was? 4 under? The way
it looked like it was 4 under. Look, as long as they were moving straight. I mean, they took a big step. You could go.
Can we not go to 3 under or even 2 under? I mean, it ain't like they're open at Northside, you know.
Well, I was going to say that South Point Arena, it's a little longer, so they could have went 3 under and not made it such a chicken stick. I mean, just hit the line.
You got Big Loop Annie just throwing it out.
I like that Danielle Lohman. They call her Long Gun Lohman. She come back and won 3 rounds in a row. I think it was the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And I got her. So 7th round, Danielle Lohman 1-9. 8th round, Danielle Lohman 1-7. 9th round, Danielle Lohman 1-7. I mean, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'd like to see them put a little bit more line on there. And then I noticed too, it looked like a high school rodeo kind of. They had one person on out past the line, and I'm like, come on, let them go left if they want to a little bit.
Yeah, make them try a little.
It ain't like it's a little jackpot in eastern Oklahoma, you know.
Well, I tell you, so I knew Haley Williams had gotten hurt, but I didn't know the extent. I mean, she's got a torn Achilles. Aaron Rodgers is out of the whole NFL season after one play or whatever in the first game of the season. Haley Williams tears her Achilles 6 weeks ago and is roping at the finals and splits around, wins around. I mean, that's cowgirl enough right there. You know, but the breakaway coming in, and we all know this, and this is I heard this from Larry D guy back in April. Everybody wants the breakaway inside the Thomas and Mack. I, for one, want to see it. But she said, hey, we as breakaway ropers are grateful where we're at. We're pushing to get there. But we also know these other contestants, with the added money, we're going to have to help them get that money so we can get equal money and get in that building. It's not just about the time, because those other events waited a long time to get the money they're getting. We'd love to run at $30,000 go rounds and $80,000 averages, but we're not there yet, but we're building towards it.
Yeah.
That being said, going into this finals, it was really a 2-girl, maybe a 3-girl race for the world title coming in. It was Shelby and Haley, and then I believe Martha was 3rd coming in, and Sarah, but they were, you know, at $5,000 go rounds and $20,000 average payout, you know, actually the average paid $13,000, excuse me, not even 20, $13,000. It was a 2-girl race, and Shelby had it on her mind. She lost the world in 2021 to Sawyer Gilbert in the 10th round. Shelby had it on her mind to come back and win it, and Haley was going in hurt. And I think Haley did a great job, you know, toughing through it. But it was fun watching what I did.
What happened? So I also did not watch the second half. What happened with Taylor?
Taylor
started strong.
She missed her 6-round calf, so dropped her out of the average. But and then let's see, 7th round, she placed. She won 2nd in the 7th round, didn't place in the 8th round.
Dang it.
Placed 6th in the 9th round, placed in the 10th round, and she wound up 4th in the average. So 29 on 8 head. So the girl that won the average only roped 9 head. You know, that was Cheyenne McCartney. So
how much did Shelby finish out with overall?
$197,706. So damn near $200,000 breakaway roping.
Yeah.
Aaron Johnson, who did not have a great finals at all, wound up 76,000 for the year. That's pretty impressive for breakaway ropers. I mean,
yeah.
And I do want to point out too, there's, kudos to JJ and Larry D and Jackie and all them that they mentioned for this breakaway deal exploding. But I think a guy that doesn't get a lot of credit is Mac Altizer. Mac he had breakaway roping at his pro rodeos, Bad Company rodeos, back in the 90s even. I remember here at Garden City, Kansas. It was part of the pro rodeo performance. I mean, most all of Mac's rodeos. Do you remember, Jimmy? I don't know how much you were going at that time, but I remember Mac having that. So Mac Altizer, he deserves a pat on the back for helping them girls get that started. Breakaway was huge around here, the KPRA rodeos, and down in Texas the TCRA rodeos, and New Mexico, the Heartland around here. Yeah, it was huge, but at them open rodeos. But yeah, it was pretty neat for them girls to get their open and pro rodeo performance. Even back in the 90s, it was happening.
Well, Mac Altizer was way ahead of himself with his creativity about producing rodeos. You look at the NFR nowadays, and they used to have the orchestra. They played orchestra music the whole rodeo, and now they're rocking out just like Mac Altizer. What Mac Altizer brought to rodeo has manifested into our Super Bowl, and that guy he will never get the credit that he deserves for bringing rodeo to where it's at.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. But talking about the pro fantasy teams, Jim Boy, it says 51% of the teams are ranked higher than my team.
I was behind you.
Like one round I won $700. One round I won $500. The best round I had was round 5, $8,450. I mean, thinking that's awesome. Any other round before that I'd have won, I was 10 or like 10% of the teams were higher. So I hope my pro fantasy team, big team, does better. Wow.
I always try to bring something. I always try to bring something positive out of the negative, and postponing the first performance is, it's unprecedented. But on the positive side of things, we'll all be in first place Friday morning.
Yes, what, Jimmy? You hit the nail on the head. Everybody is winning first. Everybody gets shot at the big prize of the truck and trailer, and they got the chance of the fantasy, rodeo NFR Hangover League buckle that we're going to dethrone CJ Aragon with.
Last year after the first go round, 97% of the teams were ahead of me. So that won't be the case that won't be the case Friday morning. So.
Well, so on that note, I'm guessing that we'll have a little bit more time to mess with our teams. It'll be super interesting to see. I mean, Jimmy, I've seen some of your posts that almost say that you don't even know if we're going to have a rodeo tomorrow. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
The people that I've spoke with, and they've been event directors and TV commentators and whatnot, they're up in the air. The way that I'm taking it is pretty much they had the campus locked down and everything was out of Las Vegas events control and out of the PRCA's control. They were just following, I'm assuming it was the FBI. They're just having to follow their lead and do what they say. And even as I watched Tom Glaus last night, I got the impression that nobody has a clue. I heard some people say they think it might take as long as a week. I don't know. And I don't think they will know either.
This kind of reminds me of
hopefully.
This kind of reminds me of the college rodeo at K-State that one year when the blizzard came in, and I was the faculty director, and we get up there and we pushed it back. Instead of starting with slack Friday morning, we didn't have a perf Friday night. And we pushed it back and decided to start Saturday morning. And instead of having a long go, short go, we just had one long go. And it was a lot of logistics to figure out, and I made a lot of parents upset. There was parents from all over the country calling me, and but my deal was all them kids is going to be in Aggieville there in Manhattan, Kansas.
Right.
I'm like,
Well,
I think the bareback riders, I can't remember when their meal was that last night. I think when they go out for their supper together, whatever. I'm like, which, heck, it's Vegas. But yeah, it's funny on that deal at K-State. I had somebody on this one, Facebook was still pretty early in the phones we have. And somebody says, well, I heard there was nothing to eat or drink in Manhattan. I'm like, oh, there was plenty to drink.
It might not be.
Yeah, but they had plenty to drink.
Yeah.
Well, so is it an option to have it somewhere else?
I don't.
Well,
I don't think.
So
go ahead, Jimmy.
They were somebody asked me this morning, well, couldn't they move it to Reliant? Well, the Raiders have 2 home games in the next 2 Sundays. So moving it there is not an option. I don't know about T-Mobile. I know the T-Mobile's probably capable.
The NBA's got their in-season tournament going on, so they've got T-Mobile locked up.
Yeah, so
through at least this week.
So I think we're pretty much handcuffed at this point. We have to wait until whoever gives us the clearance to use the campus, use the building. But if they're letting them ride today at 2:30, that sounds like a positive. Sounds like we're headed in the right direction to me. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just got a text. I just text my brother because he's there in Vegas. Said, "Hey, any word?" And he goes, "No, they meet at 9 this morning to have their meeting." But
yeah,
at least, like I say, if they're letting the contestants back in, it seems like it's not going to happen tonight. We know that tonight's been canceled. Which, like I say, wording I wish I would have used. First round has been postponed, has been pushed because. When you hear the word cancel, it's just a panic. Oh my God, what's going to happen? They cancel now 9 rounds, and I think wording plays a very important role in this. But I think they'll get it figured out. I think either we double up on Friday, or not Friday, Saturday, or we move to a Sunday 10th round. And I know logistically, people I'm seeing on Facebook, these people scraped, and they might only have been there Wednesday, Thursday, go to the perf Thursday, come home Friday, and I get that, and I feel for them. But in the big picture, people lost their lives. And like Jim Boy said, this is a mental health crisis in this country that needs to be addressed. And in the big picture, man, we all love rodeo. The NFR, it's the best 10 days of December of the year for a lot of people in our industry. But in the big picture, let's let this get this right, and then the rodeo will go on. So
yeah,
something else.
And this affects people a lot closer to the rodeo world than we think. Brennan Eldred, multi-time NFR qualifier, his brother plays football for UNLV, and he was actually near the shooting. And I tried to get a hold of Brennan yesterday, and I couldn't, and I was actually kind of panicking a little bit. And but he texted me this morning, and his brother's okay, but this hits a lot closer to home than a lot of people realize.
Yes, sir.
That's something else I think a lot of fans need to keep in mind as well. Them contestants out there are busy. They are hooked up.
Man,
they have a lot going on, and you have no idea. Like Emily Beisel told me when she did so well at Sioux City, or what?
Sioux Falls.
Huh?
Sioux Falls.
Yeah. She was on the phone all the way home back to Oklahoma with interviews and responding, different things. So to the fans out there, just because you might have shaken hands with Jess Pope or Sage Kimsey waved at you in the Grand Entry, or Hunter Heron, or one of them guys threw their picking string, you caught it in the crowd at a rodeo. I mean, if you have their number, just like yesterday, Emily said she had, I don't know how many phone calls and text messages. Are you okay? Or, I encourage people just to, if you do have them contestants numbers, just shoot them hey, good job or good luck tonight. Don't leave an open-ended question or whatever. And they're busy. They have things going on. And so I encourage people, unless you're sure enough pretty tight with somebody, kind of give them a break. They got a lot going on. Maybe not today. Well, they still have things. Them barrel racers trying to figure out, I can guarantee you them girls are trying to figure out what to do today. What medicine to get out of the bag, when to give it to them, how much to ride.
Like you saying, there's some that had outfits lined up, Jim Boy, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way to Saturday, and now it just throws off their whole
messed up the whole game.
Hey, is Tony? Do you know, is Matt Reeves still the bulldogging director?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay,
But last I heard, I think he was.
He sent me a message the other day. He says, "You remember a few years ago when you're asking me why not use the straightaway shoot dog and shoot and run them from the rope and shoot when they're throwing the steers down and picking the steers, preparing them?" He says, "You got it done. It happened this year." So they were using like what we use at the junior high rodeos, the straightaway, and they were coming from the rope and shoot, headed toward the buck and shoots like they would at the actual rodeo.
They're actually sending them the right way and not running them. Oh, that's because of you, Jim Boy. That was you.
It happened right here on NFR Hangover.
How did they do it before?
They took them out of the buck and shoots from the other end. They would shoot dog them out of the buck and shoots. And
that
then,
doesn't make sense.
And I kind of, the one reason I questioned it, because somebody was Facebook Living it a few years ago, and I watched a steer leave there and duck out away from that guy like he's going back out the out gate. And then when I've been there watching, some of them steers will run to that, because when they're throwing them on the ground there, they kind of try to hold them at the other end, which would be in front of the roping boxes. So I was there a few years ago really paying attention. And so I seen where, Julio was having trouble getting a steer. Like he thought he was at the correct end, So I think this will help speed up the rodeo by them animals are creatures of habit, You take a team roping steer here at our practice pen at the college, and he knows where that out gate, he knows where the strip and shoot is. So yeah, I hopefully that was a benefit to production, and hopefully the cattle will run better. Not that it's been horrible, but hopefully that went well.
But like you said, Jim Boy, even if just one steer is bad, from that, or gets a bad habit from that, that takes somebody out of a chance of winning $30,000 a night, and may take somebody out of a world title just on one steer. So this is a way to help ensure that, man, we gave it the best shot possible to make sure they were right. So good job. Hey, I think you deserve an award. You get the NFR Hangover Award for creativity of producing a better rodeo.
Hey, speaking of awards, Branded Buzzworm created a, what did they call it? Rodeo Bum of the Round. So we're going to you can pick a contestant or anybody. It can be anybody that will get some swag from us. Yeah. So if you guys want to, obviously it's going to look a little different today, but
you're going to have to get FedEx or somebody to sponsor us as well for all
their swag.
What's that?
You're going to need to get FedEx to sponsor us for all the shipping charges.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good idea. I'll work on that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. I do. I have boxes of stuff in here now. So let's talk real quickly about Pro Fantasy. I did put up, I'm going to put it up one more time. If you guys have not gotten in the league or haven't gotten your Pro Fantasy team put together, put that together. There's been some confusion on how to add to the league. So I would like to say that I have solved that confusion, but I think I may also make it worse. So we'll try. You can message us and we'll try, but create your team and then you can add it to the NFR Hangover League using this code. And then at checkout, put this code in, BFC 2023-12, and you can get in the league for free, I believe, is what that discount gets you. So
yes,
it's worded as promo code.
Yes,
on the deal.
promo code.
Right.
BFC 2023. Anyway, You still have time to get in. We have a pretty good showing this year. So far, I think we have 23 teams.
I got told by my wife and child that I cannot finish our team till they get home from school today.
I am hopeful that I will do better than last year. It doesn't matter. It's fun. Until CJ starts trash talking at the college finals. Then I'm
Throw
like,
his buckle off.
yeah, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for him to start. I'm just waiting for his comment to come in because
he's got
here.
one in there, but it's just about my tag.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys get to watch the awards deal last night?
I did watch a little bit last night, and it was really good. I thought it was tasteful. They also talked about what happened.
Anthony Lucia got announcer of the year, and man, the
emotions.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That was pretty neat to watch. That means right there that he showed how much it meant to him. That was pretty cool.
And cool. John Harrison cleaned up.
Did he get what? Clown of the year,
Courage Man in the Can, Clown of the Year, and Dress Act of the Year. All three of them, I believe. And it's kind of funny when the Dress Act of the Year. So you had Bobby Kerr, who got crippled up here not too long ago. He limps up on the stage first, and then you had John Payne, who's missing an arm, and then you had the trick rider Haley that just went down.
Haley Gans
broke her leg.
Haley Proctor.
And then, Yeah.
Haley Proctor.
Yeah, and then Roper rides, Ryder ropes. Ryder Kiesner. Ryder trick ropes and Roper rides. So is Ryder Kiesner and his new wife their specialty act? I guess she's pregnant, maybe. I don't know.
Listen,
he looked like he was limping. But
he said that, and then she was like,
I don't know, but it was funny when Scott Grover was the MC, and he says, man, it's pretty bad when John Payne's the healthiest looking one up here.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Oh, man.
And then, of course, Frontier Rodeo. They won Contractor of the Year. Jerry Nelson gave a pretty lengthy speech. Ryder had a hip replacement. There you go. I would probably have to have more than that, the stuff he does. Just getting into some of the pants he wears, I'd have to have a hip replacement. But Jerry Nelson gave a pretty hard...
You would think as many times as Jerry Nelson's won that award, he wouldn't have had that much to say. But he was going on and on and on.
I mean, he was thinking Steve Smith, Harry Vold, the guy on the corner holding the cup out, But what I caught from that, I don't know if anybody, and I don't know Jerry. I've never met him, never shook his hand. I've heard some stories about him at bull sales. And he seems like a pretty no-nonsense kind of guy. And just talking to Heath, I visit with Heath quite a bit. And talking with Heath, I mean, that guy is sharp, but he made a statement in his speech. He said, when Heath Stewart is done, I'm done. I'm like, wow, that's pretty profound right there.
I know.
So interesting.
I know Jerry pretty well, and I can tell you he wasn't playing. If he said it, that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
He, when he said if Heath Stewart doesn't want to do this anymore, we're done. And I believe him 100% because I've known Jerry for 25 years, and I've never known him to say something that he wouldn't stand behind. So
yeah.
I hope Heath don't want to bail out because they have a great rodeo company. They have great rodeos. They have phenomenal animal athletes. So I hope Heath's content right where he's at.
Well, like I say, and maybe Heath will slow down, but I think he'll drive a truck just like anybody. I don't think he expects anybody to do any more he's not going to do any less than anybody else on that ranch, on that outfit. I've seen him personally work his tail off.
Well,
so it's not a glorious thing, you know.
Jerry
It's
also
only glitz
said
and
last
glamour.
night. Jerry said last night in his speech, they've only lost one rodeo since they've been in the PRCA, and that was because they told the committee they didn't want to do it anymore. And I think that says a lot about who Frontier Rodeo is. Also, you know, they're good people, and when they come to a rodeo, they want them to come back. So I think the PRCA needs Frontier Rodeo. You know, way more than Frontier Rodeo probably needs a PRCA. They're a great addition to pro rodeo, and they're stand-up guys, and I'm glad to call them my friends.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at the awards last night. I say that is awesome for Frontier Rodeo. But yeah, you know, Cody Webster, 4th Bullfighter of the Year award in a row. I mean, but John Harrison, yeah, Comedy Act of the Year, and Coors Man in the Can, and Clown of the Year. You know, he could share that. He's not the only one that wears face paint. Jesus, man, he could share with some other guys.
I think they were just voting for his wife.
Well, yeah, she is the engine that runs the John Harrison show. If it wasn't for
exactly, she's the only reason that he won anything, in my opinion.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
oh, that's funny.
I love them. They're great people.
They are
Hambone
very
even had some stuff to say.
Do what?
Hambone even had some stuff to say. Our sound guy, talking about Cheetos on your fingers and stay away from your phones, social media warriors. I was like, I feel called out right now.
I'm waiting on FedEx to deliver my judging outfit, Jim Boy.
Your what?
My couch judge's outfit. I'm waiting on FedEx to deliver it today.
Well, I'm waiting for my number 5+ healers red shirt that Jim Boy posted the other day. You know, look and say I could have made that. She got him on the first hop. Oh.
I can't say that because I'm not even a 5.
I'm way overrated at a 5 or a 5+. Ask my daughters. I've missed way too many of them for them.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we are coming up on the 1 hour mark. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming on this morning. I know we're all kind of waiting to see what the plans are, and we'll just kind of stand by. If any of us hear anything, we'll confirm before we post, because that's not the game that we are in. But we'll make sure to put across any information that we know. We will still have our broadcast as scheduled in the morning. We did have to make a change to the lineup because plans change. So you might get stuck with just the 3 of us, or we'll try to bring a surprise guest on tomorrow.
I'll try to find somebody in Vegas.
Yeah.
Who kind of has firsthand account of what,
get a little
things went, whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Again, we want to give a shout out to our partners, Cinch Jeans and Shirts, as always, partnering on Bullfrog Creatives, also on NFR Hangover. Yes, well done, you guys. And then want to give a shout out to our new partner this year, Branded Buzzworm, who has the Rodeo Bum brand and the Buckle Bunny Pimp shirts that are so popular. Garden City Community College. And with that, I have just a few minutes to give my elevator speech. If you know anybody that is in the high school level or even junior college and wants to transfer to a different rodeo program, Bullfrog Creatives has, I always say I have just launched a brand new recruitment platform, subscription-based, super interactive, gives you an opportunity to get out in front of college rodeos, college rodeo coaches, also get some more knowledge about the rodeo program. So we'll start pushing out some great content starting after the new year for sure. But if you guys are interested in that, just check out Bullfrog Creatives. I'm really excited for what's going to be coming down the pike for that. Also want to give a shout out to our sponsor for the virtual college rodeo recruitment, Garden City Community College, coming in strong. We are looking for sponsors. So if that's a market that you want to get in front of, or the NFR Hangover is a market you want to get in front of, reach out to Tony, Jimbo, or myself, and we would love to partner with you guys. Again, we don't make money doing this. This is something that we just enjoy doing. We like to share our knowledge. And let's be really honest, we probably, all three of us, have been told numerous times in our lives to stop talking. So this is the perfect venue for us to be. We were the kids in class that got notes sent home, will not stop talking to the other kids in the class, which is funny because now my kid does that. So we want to thank you guys so much for coming on. Jimmy, again, thank you so much for coming. And you guys, we will see you in the morning. We'll be back here, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, early 8 a.m. in Vegas.
10 a.m. here in Texas. And tomorrow we'll start with our predictions, kind of break down what we think is going to happen round number 1. And I'm excited. It's going to be a fun show. Jimmy, again, thank you for coming on. Jim Boy, Heidi, I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
We're back. We're back at it again.
Yeah. We don't know what the week is going to look like, but we're going to provide as much information as we can to you guys. So stick around and rewatch, share, tell all your buddies, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.
Have a great day, guys.
You
See you,
too.
James.
Thanks, Jim.